Everyone thinks Catherine de Medici was a ruthless queen. They are wrong. A different Medici Duchess mastered a far more intimate kind of terror. The year is 1547. Florence, a city of unparalleled beauty and brutal power, holds its breath. A young duchess, barely 20, has just taken the reins. Her name, Eleonora di Toledo, wife of Cosimo I de Medici, Duke of Florence, and she was about to unleash a private vendetta that would chill the very foundations of the Tuscan court. Cosimo I, Duke of Florence, was a man of ambition, intellect, and like many powerful men of his era, a roving eye. His marriage to Eleonora, a Spanish noblewoman from a powerful family, was a political triumph, but it didn't curb his appetites. Whispers of his dalliances with women of the court, and even commoners, spread like wildfire. Eleonora, however, was no meek, forgotten wife. She was intelligent, fiercely proud, and possessed a will of iron. While Cosimo focused on consolidating his power and expanding his territories, Eleonora was equally adept at managing the ducal household, and, as it would turn out, its indiscretions. Her first years in Florence were a study in quiet observation. She learned the rhythms of the court, the loyalties, and crucially, the secrets. She understood that power in the Renaissance wasn't just about armies and alliances. It was about control, reputation, and the subtle art of eliminating threats, both political and personal. The turning point arrived with a series of mysterious disappearances, not of political rivals, but of young women, ladies-in-waiting, courtesans, and even a laundress, all connected by a single, dangerous thread. They had been seen with Duke Cosimo. Historians have long debated the precise details, but the pattern was chillingly consistent. A woman would catch Cosimo's eye, perhaps enjoy a brief, illicit affair, and then vanish. No grand public trial, no dramatic arrest, just a quiet cessation of existence. The most famous of these alleged victims was a beautiful woman named Beatrice de Medici. Beatrice was a Florentine noblewoman known for her captivating beauty and quick wit. She was a regular at court, and her dalliance with Cosimo was an open secret, though one spoken in hushed tones. One evening, Beatrice attended a ducal ball, radiant in her silks and jewels. She danced, she laughed, she exchanged glances with the Duke. The next morning she was gone. Her family was given a vague explanation of illness or a sudden journey, but the truth, many believed, was far darker. These weren't isolated incidents. Another woman, a seamstress named Isabella, also disappeared after rumors linked her to the Duke. Then a scullery maid, a young woman with no connections, no power, just a fleeting moment of royal attention. Eleonora's methods were discreet, almost surgical. She didn't seek public vengeance. Instead, she used her network of loyal servants, spies, and perhaps even her husband's own security apparatus to ensure these women simply ceased to be a problem. The precise means of their demise remain a subject of historical conjecture. Poison was a favored tool of the era, leaving little trace. A quiet accident in the Arno River or a sudden illness were also convenient explanations. The beauty of Eleonora's approach lay in its ambiguity. Cosimo himself, it seems, was complicit through his silence. Whether he actively approved or merely turned a blind eye to his wife's actions is unknown, but he certainly benefited from the lack of scandal and the clear message it sent to any future paramours. The court, though outwardly serene, hummed with suppressed fear. Everyone knew, everyone understood. The Duchess, with her demure Spanish demeanor, was not to be crossed. Her power wasn't overt, but absolute, particularly in matters of her own honor. Eleonora's motivations were complex. It wasn't just jealousy, it was about maintaining the honor of her house, her children's legitimacy, and her own standing in a brutally patriarchal society. Her actions, though ruthless, were arguably a form of self-preservation. She was also a significant political player in her own right. She owned vast estates, managed ducal finances, and founded the Pitti Palace. Her actions against her husband's lovers were not a sign of weakness, but an assertion of formidable authority. This chilling pattern continued for years. Each disappearance reinforced the unspoken rule: to attract the Duke's attention was to invite a perilous fate. The court became a place where discretion was paramount, and indiscretion could be deadly. The Night of the Long Knives, a more famous historical event, describes a political purge. But in Eleonora's court, it was a silent, personal purge, enacted not with public executions, but with quiet disappearances and the chilling certainty of a duchess's wrath. Eleonora died in 1562 at the relatively young age of 40. She left behind a legacy of power, patronage, and a chilling reputation for dealing with her husband's infidelities. Her story is a stark reminder that history's most brutal acts aren't always loud. Her story is often overshadowed by her more famous daughter-in-law, Bianca Capello, who herself would become the subject of scandal and suspicion. But Eleonora's reign of quiet terror established a precedent that few dared to challenge. The true number of women who met their end at Eleonora's silent command will never be known, but the whispers, the absences, and the enduring fear at the Medici court speak volumes. A duchess, protecting her honor and her dynasty by any means necessary. Her story is a nuanced look at power, gender, and survival in the cutthroat world of Renaissance Italy. Eleonora di Toledo wasn't just a consort. She was a force to be reckoned with, a silent executioner who ensured her position and her family's future would remain unchallenged. This dark chapter in Medici history highlights that even within the most celebrated dynasties, personal betrayals could ignite a chillingly effective and deadly response. Next, discover the true story behind another infamous royal poisoner.